Ooh, that was a very interesting chord. Hey everyone, my name is Christoph Jakob. I'm a music composer for video games. After checking out all the other normal boss themes in Side Order and Splatoon 3, how could I possibly leave out the one that hyped me up the most when I was streaming it for the first time?
Fox, I agree, the music! Oh my gosh! The music was going absolutely insane.
So how could I leave out the boss theme that plays during my favorite boss fight in the entire series? Today, let's check out this tune. Let's go. I love how fast-paced this feels. And I think it's just one single chord. I still think that this is some of the most sophisticated music in the entire series. A very loud kick drum. Just like in the other boss fights, the music is actually dynamic. For those of you who are unsure what it means when a composer or developer is talking about dynamic music, it means that the music changes based on in-game events, player actions, or simply as a means of indicating progression. As you're removing more and more layers from the boss, more and more layers are being added on top of the music, making it sound more full and even more chaotic. It's quite subtle. Well, at first. So in case you didn't even notice that there are multiple phases, I actually didn't notice it myself when I was playing it for the first time. Also, is it just me or does this tune remind anyone else of Octoling Rendezvous? The entire structure just feels so similar, while at the same time both tunes are so fundamentally different. There seem to be four main ingredients that make up this tune. We have a fairly straightforward and steady drum beat with a huge focus on the kick drum. Most of the time it's going something like doom doom ta doom doom ta. We also have one super fast synth instrument, which is mostly playing the root note, then jumps up to the 7th, that's quite a leap actually, and then jumps back down to the root. Just like in the other boss themes, there don't really seem to be that many different, clearly discernible chords here, at least so far. The third ingredient is a melody, and the final ingredient is... how do I put this? Ooh, that was a very interesting chord. At the risk of repeating myself, but just like in the other boss themes, the B and C section, or whatever you want to call that, introduced some really interesting and juicy chord progressions. The Onward leitmotif is very prevalent during this section as well. You know, this da 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 da. Furthermore, the melody once again seems to actively be trying to avoid using the third, making it sometimes quite difficult to say whether a chord is meant to be major or minor. I think the progression goes roughly like this. The best thing about this entire section to me is actually just one specific note over one specific chord. Something you just do not expect at all. But this one note can teach us a great lesson actually. Let me play that chord again. While we're hearing an E major chord, the main melody is actually playing and staying on the note A sharp. A note that seems to be out of key. Then why does it still sound good though? The full chord that's being played here is actually an E major 7 sharp 11 chord. A complicated and fancy sounding name for a chord with so-called upper chord extensions. Many of you watching this are probably familiar with the concept of chords. If you play the root, the third and the fifth together, you have a chord. In this specific case, a major chord, a minor chord, an augmented chord or a diminished chord. But you can just keep stacking notes on top of these three notes. The 7th, the 9th, the 11th or maybe even the 13th. If you want your music to really stand out, Sarah, try focusing the melody on those upper chord extensions. In my opinion, this is what can make an okay and decent sounding melody turn into something that's amazing and memorable, as long as you don't focus solely on those notes. The melody is just staying on this sharp 11, and this E major 7 sharp 11 chord is just begging to be resolved. There's just so much tension in these kinds of chords, but the good kind of tension. And there's honestly only one thing you can do in this specific context, which is resolve it down a half step to E flat major. And surprise, that's exactly what's happening here. I know this was a lot of theory talk, but this is just absolutely stunning. This is my favorite section. Funny circus music go. Of course, we also have to talk about what's going on here. Even though the tempo has stayed the same, it feels as if the tune has slowed down. We're moving from sheer frantic chaos to a more structured bop, wop, wop, bouncy kind of rhythm. Which sounds super quirky and a little goofy. The chord progression is really interesting too. Most of the time we're hearing either G minor or different versions of a D major chord. I think the progression goes something like this. It's not easy to play. I also love how it's just falling down, it's just collapsing. As I mentioned earlier, this tune has a second and a third phase. The more progress you make in the boss fight, the more layers are being added to the music. And this is the culmination of that chaos. What a fat, what a fat is the wrong word, what a thick kick drum. It's just hammering. Oh, did you hear the Onward Leitmotif again? Dun, 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 dun. There are so many more synths in here now too. But to be honest, it's all about the kick drum. Oh, and the bass. Listen to the bass. Very bouncy bass all of a sudden. Such an awesome theme. Oh, I never noticed these voices in game. It's like it's made to be headbanged to. Very awesome tune. One little fun fact before we end this video. A lot of people have pointed that out by now, but in case you aren't aware, did you know that these scream-like sound effects that the boss is making is actually Marina's vocals from Ebb and Flow, but slowed down and a little distorted? You can actually hear it quite prominently if you know it. Let's listen. Thanks for watching. Like this video and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Check out my socials, join my Discord server, or check out some of my own Splatoon inspired music. If you have the money, you can even hire me to write music for your Splat band, Jimmy. Anyway, thank you so much and I'll see you all next time.